Wow, that was a longer pause than I thought. Hello, everyone, and welcome to my channel. I'm Lorena Creole. Of course, I'm giving you that spicy takes and all that, but today, this stream is about keeping it real when it comes to theme parks. And of course, this is the Resort Recon live streams. My Resort Recon videos are usually just the videos, but this is the live show where I'm here to give you guys news about the parks, answer your questions, and of course, just have a great time. So, my hallmark when it comes to theme parks is hey, I'm an engineer, so I am a realist. I will give you the best case scenario. I will also give you the worst case scenario. But my objective is to arm you with as much information as possible so you can make informed decisions. And I see 30 of you, 31 of you folks in here already. It's a Saturday morning, so some of my panel members are going to be on in a little bit, but that's okay because we've got some news to start out with in a little bit. But before I do that, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you let people know that we are here and on and popping. And let me welcome you guys into the stream. Christian Delorme's Vinyl Revival, who has been a member for 23 months. God bless you, my dear, and thank you. Says, bonjour, ma belle reine Creole. We are big fans. Well, thank you so very, very much, my dear. I appreciate that. I appreciate that very much. And just for that member chat, meet my new friend. Yes, this is a Raven shoulder plush that I got from the Memento Mori gift shop. That gift shop is right outside of the Haunted Mansion. You will walk by and blink and miss it if you're not looking for it, but it is the best place for some of the coolest Haunted Mansion merch. And this lovely, lovely Raven right here, his name is Poe. Some of you literature nerds will get that. So yes, not only does his eyes light up and everything and he caws and everything, he'll actually do that on his own for a little bit after you do that. It's so cool. It's so cool. It is $29.99 plus tax. Of course, I got my annual pass holder discount. I feel it's well worth it because it does stuff. Eyes light up, you hear that caw that's going on and all of that. What'd I tell you? So I think it does that about 2 more times after you touch it on its head and activate it. So it's not like it's continuously draining the batteries or anything like that. Let's see. So let me. I'm like trying to type at the same time. It's like as soon as you're putting out snacks and everything. Yep, and that's number 2. That's number 2. And you are worth my loonies and toonies, my lovely. Oh, well, thank you. Thank you so very much, Christian Delorme. I mean, you guys, super chats, you help fund the channel. You help fund my cold brew habit that I have at the parks and allow me to once in a while pick up very, very cool swag like that. And speaking of very cool, we got mother fellow Walt Disney World's theme parks aficionado Ron Bradley of Follow the Bradley's Fun channel. How you doing, my dear?
I'm tired.
Tired?
I had a late night stream last night at Hollywood Studios for Fantasmic, which broke down right in the middle of the show. It's on the stream. It was live. So it broke down, and then it was down for, I want to say 15, 20 minutes, and then they resumed the show at some point. Somebody did tell me that there must have been like 5 or 10 minutes that was actually cut out, that they resumed it, not from the point it left off, but like from ahead. So I guess there was some technical glitch at that point, but I got to see the water on fire and the steamboat at the end and all that fun stuff. And it was the first time that I had seen Fantasmic since it came back. But more important, it was the first time that I'd seen Fantasmic since I actually did a backstage tour of it as a cast member way back in 2019. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah, I haven't seen Fantasmic in quite some time. I say I probably haven't seen it in like 10 years or so.
Yeah.
I put it off because I don't want to do it unless I do a dining plan because that's just how I do it. I'm not sitting in that huge crowd. No, 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 no. Hey, Ginger Ninja, all the way over in Japan says, "Hey, y'all, what are we talking about
sorry.
tonight?"
Is this better?
Someone said they couldn't hear you.
Yeah, my microphone was a little bit distant. Is that better?
Hopefully? Oh,
CJ?
Yeah. Oh, you're fine. You're fine. Oh, yeah, CJ. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I owe you a schedule too. Okay. How's the sound? How's the sound now? It sounds okay to me now. So thanks for pointing that out. Yeah, I see some folks are really liking the liking the Raven here. Oh, yeah, Professor X is already plotting on it. He was looking at it like, what is that? I may have to take that out. He was not quite happy to see it. So one day it might be missing, and the head and the stuffing may be missing one day. But until now, I haven't seen anything. Are you sure that Raven isn't a Disney spy drone? Well,
we can never be too sure.
You can never be too sure. I mean, I am already of the impression that Disney knows when I'm coming to the parks. Like, literally, when I'm about to drive up to the parking plaza. Because for other folks, it'll probably go over their head. But when you can, one, already know I'm an annual pass holder, or two, basically say, "Oh, it's okay. Go ahead on in."
Interesting.
It does.
They kept my hat, by the way.
They did.
I never got my hat back, and it was like a cast member and I saw where it went. So why didn't I get it back? Somebody knows.
It's a quiet line.
That is very true. And I've had 3 cups of caffeine today.
Really? I've had 2, and I had to cut back to the electrolyte water for a bit. And yes, Avarice Carmageddon, you are 100% correct. This is what I talk about with regards to the reservation system. Again, I'm an engineer. Engineers are very weird, which is, well, I'm not going to say that right now because I'm trying to get monetized and we're waiting for 30 minutes before I say that. But let's just say we have a particular set of skills and we can pick things out. So, yeah, look up a software package called Snowflake. I kid you not.
Lorena has a particular set of skills. Just like you. Yes. She will find you and she will demonetize you.
So I see all of you awesome people coming around. No, I did not. That is next on my list to get. It's a bit more expensive, but its head moves around and it's animated. So that is next on the list of things to acquire. And I kind of need to break down and actually buy the darn wand stand because I have the wand, but I've been too cheap to buy the stand. So I really need to buy the darn stand because I can't just have it laying on the desk at all. So true. Engineers are oddballs. I'm married to a rocket scientist. I can attest, girl. When I'm noticing and I'm getting data on how often I get through security without having my bag signal, and in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, how do I have things rearranged? Yeah, we're some weirdos. But first of all, I'm glad 42 you guys are here in the chat. We have got quite a bit to talk about. I think our Disneyland park folks are kind of busy this morning. I know theme park casual couldn't make it, so we're mainly going to be focusing on Walt Disney World. We will do one thing about Disneyland because it is so disturbing that we really can't do this stream incomplete without talking about it, because if it's going there, it's not out of the ordinary to think that it won't come here. But before we get started, we're going to hit a little bit of Epic Universe for the first 5 minutes, because frankly, I got to share two things with you guys. One, and thanks to Bio Reconstruct, this is the value hotels over there. Stella Luna, which is over here to the Stella Nova to the upper right, and Stella Luna to the bottom left. Now, last week I was driving by it, like, kind of like in Twilight, and I'm like, what are these lights? I didn't know what they were. I thought they were construction lights because it was lighter, and I think they were just coming on. I'm like, oh, is it construction lights for something else? No, it turns out that these lights are on at night. I've never seen a hotel lit like this. Can you believe that these are value hotels? Number one, Ron.
So I remember passing by them when they started the construction and seeing the portal windows and going, it looks like they're building something that's going to be like a cruise ship, but on land as a hotel, something. I don't know. They just have such a different, modern, postmodern type look to them as I drive by. It's really funny about the whole area is people are saying that Epic is landlocked. I don't think they realize how little land Epic is using of what they have so far that can expand. What do they have? 5 portals right now? I think they could go 10.
Yes, 5. And yes, because from what I understand, there is an option that they have from a certain defense contractor who they already bought land for Epic Universe. Should they decide to pop smoke and leave, that is an additional chunk of land, a good chunk of land for Epic Universe to expand. And it is a lot of people are not familiar with this area, which makes sense because most of it was cut off from regular traffic. I don't know if some of you have ever made that mistake of where you're on Kirkman and you go the wrong way on Kirkman, and it's like you're on Lockheed Martin property. Okay, we're gonna have to whip you around and come back. Okay, that's why. Been through that, yeah. That's why a lot of people are not familiar, because that whole area has been blocked off because it was private property, and now that's what Epic Universe is using. Pop smoke and leave. I'm so steal a million.
I remember driving up that, not knowing what that was in the security gate, and they're like, this you have to turn around because everything that's going on back there is confidential. It's it's top secret military.
Yes.
We have no idea what's going on, but it's all top secret military stuff. It's basically Stark Industries in real life.
Pretty much. I can 100% vouch for that. Exactly. Blocked for security reasons.
Definitely.
Never thought I would prefer Universal to Disney, but
you can go further in, but we'll have to shoot you.
And Mike Has Bad Knees is a very good question that I need to elaborate on. What do you mean by value? What I mean by value is that there's certain price points for hotels. With Universal, they've got their premium hotels, the ones that are over by by the studios and Islands of Adventure. And of course, that would be like Royal Pacific, the Hard Rock Hotel, and I'm forgetting the Italian one. Then there's kind of like their mid-price hotels, which are like Sapphire Falls, um, Aventura, Value Plus, which is going to be Cabana Bay, which is freaking awesome. And then the value resorts, which are like Dockside and Surfside. Dockside and Surfside, I've seen prices start at like $60 a night. Regularly. I've seen a 1-bedroom suite go for $140 a night around the Christmas holidays. So those Universal is building a lot more resorts within that particular price range. Nice way of saying cheap. Yes, it is. It is. However, I wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't use the word cheap. I would use the word value because of so many other things that you get when you stay, regardless of what level of hotel you stay at in Universal Orlando. You get early access into the park, an hour early access. It's in the morning, but you get early access in the park. You have dedicated bus service, which is, which is just flipping, which is amazing. Package delivery, all of that stuff. There's huge pools, gorgeous pools. There's a Starbucks in all of them. A Starbucks in a value resort. And they're gorgeous. They're not just like, hey, pop it up, here's a Starbucks. Over Cabana Bay, it has this beautiful mermaid mural circa like Wiki Wachi mermaids. Literally, they're themed extremely well.
So how do they compare with All Star Sports?
Oh my gosh. All Star Sports is a ghetto. Granted, the All Star Resorts, they seem to put, student tour groups and stuff over there, but it's not. I never recommend anyone to stay there. I stayed there once, and I never will again. We have the term Code Brown. Yeah, I would never. I have that happened once. I've never gone back. And my nephew was like, "Did I do something wrong?" I said, "No. You pointed out exactly what was going on." So no worries on that. I see you guys coming. Here you go. And they know you don't spend on a hotel room, you'll spend in the parks. Yeah, this is why I used to do back in the day split stays at Walt Disney World Resort. For the first like 5 days, I'd stay in a value resort because I'm not in the room. And then the last 3 days, I check in at the Polynesian. This was when, and I don't know if they still have it or not, when they would transfer your luggage for free. So I check out of Pop Century, have luggage services come to my room. They get my luggage and they take it over to the Polynesian. And I'd go to the Magic Kingdom with like, little day bag and then going over to the Polynesian. So that's how I would split my stay. Happy Saturday, Emily Kruger. And have you guys done any visual videos of Universal Hotels? It's been a long time. Have you run?
No, I need to get on top of actually not just Universal, but all the hotel videos. I've been meaning to do a whole series on comparative hotel videos, as far as like I want to do a series of this is a hotel on a property and this is a hotel kind of off or adjacent to a property, and compare the two, so that if people are coming to Orlando, they can see, what do I get if I stay here? What's the value of paying $300 or $400 extra a night versus this one over here where I get a free breakfast? So
yeah, I know for me personally, I did stay in Bay Lake Tower. That's video that's sitting somewhere. I've got video from, I think it's like 3 years ago before I moved here, where I got video at Cabana Bay. and I may be staying at Dockside pretty soon, but I am definitely staying at Stella Nova because I've already got a reservation for the day that hotel opens, and I think it's January 25th for 2025,
Nice.
because I am of the opinion that they very likely may start pass holder previews around then. So I will be staying at both of these resorts when they open to let you know. And yeah, eventually going back and checking some of the other hotels. Also, when I do videos, especially for Epic Universe, and I think I had a planning stream a couple of weeks ago about Epic Universe where I'm letting you guys know hotels that are around that area, because this is literally a block over from International Drive. And if you know anything about the International Drive area, there's hotels of every price point, and you can literally walk to Epic Universe from there. It's not very hard at all. The Reina Creole, my family stayed at a resort outside of WW when I was 8. It was the Sinesta Villa Resort, and there was a lizard in our suite the first night. LOL. I think I remember where that was. I think I've man, that sounds very familiar.
If you
My
come to
parents had
Florida and
a
there's not a lizard in your room, there's something wrong.
yeah, they have to be there. They have to. Look, put it this way: I would rather a lizard than a big ass spider in my room, because I had that happen at my parents' timeshare when I was a kid, and I'm like, why is it raining? That rain sounds really loud. There was a spider this big on the lamp, and yeah, I freaking lost it. I got a shoe, and that thing was dead. Like 2 seconds. And my mom's like, "What's that
Poor
noise?" I said,
spider.
"Huge freaking spider." That was, that was in my room. So it's crazy. Hey, B from O says, "Hello, Lorena. Good to see you." And for the price, be interesting to see if the hotels are going to be surprisingly good, just okay, or disappointing. These seem to be the equivalent of Cabana Bay with respect to amenities and services. So, I am definitely going to give you guys a lowdown on these hotels because some folks are very, very excited about them. I'm excited about the price point and what's offered. And this is literally right outside of the entrance to Epic Universe. So, perfectly positioned. And yes, there will be transportation to the other parks as well. So another really, really quick thing I want to show you. Yesterday was National Roller Coaster Day, and please don't strike me for this, Universal, but this is footage about Starfall Racers, and I kind of want to mute this a little bit so I don't get claimed. This is the dueling coaster that is at Universal in Celestial Park. Universal released this footage yesterday in honor of National Roller Coaster Day. Look at how crazy these coasters will literally get that close between each other. And I believe this is the same company, the same roller coaster company that did Velocicoaster. It
It's
is the
doing
hang
dragons on
time.
crack.
Yes. Remember that one? I love Dueling Dragons.
Did you hear
And
what this
this,
is going to look like at night?
yes, it's got like there's no external track lighting. So if you go over and you see the Velocicoaster, you notice the Velocicoaster only has LED lights. They're lit on the individual ride cars. So instead of the track being lit, you see the ride cars going and the lights, and it's a different look and feel to it. It looks absolutely awesome. So if you want a preview of what that night lighting looks like, you can look at the Velocicoaster and what that looks like at night. And yes, same track company that made this one. And it's got also the top hat that's so high that you start to question your life choices if you should have gone to this attraction or not. That's how you know it's good. It is insane. And a dueling coaster at that. So yeah, I'm really, really excited about this. This is going to be so darn awesome. So great. And I pass by when I go to Universal, I pass by where where you can see this coaster. It's oh my gosh, it's so cool. It's so cool. And to think how fast it's gone up as compared to say what was that one called? Tron? Yeah, the Tron coaster. So yeah, Universal's MO seems to be this. What construction? If they haven't announced anything officially, they're like, wait, what are you talking about? What construction? Like with Velocicoaster, we saw the construction going
Oh, they had not
on.
announced it, yeah.
And they hadn't announced it. And we're just like, we see you building stuff. And then it's like, oh, by the way, we have a coaster. So
You know, that comes right back to what I keep saying, that Disney, the biggest mistake they've been making for, I don't know, a while now is, again, any business it is under promise, over deliver. And Disney is over promising, under delivering every single time. They did not used to do that, but they do now. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. It's like, you are literally kicking yourselves, I mean, or shooting yourselves in the foot, Disney. It just doesn't make sense. Man, Hagrid, oh, that ride. I've done all these this year finally for the first time. Velocicoaster, Hagrid's, Gringotts. Oh my gosh. I mean, these are like
Gringotts is
so
insane.
amazing. So and like when you walk into like the queue of Gringotts and you're in the bank and all of the little animatronic, and it feels real. It feels frighteningly real. And they're all working, and it is. I'm like, I know nothing about Harry Potter, and I don't care because it's so cool. Like I tried to watch the Harry Potter films. It's weird to me that I can way get into the lands at Universal more than the films. And that's why I'm looking forward to what they're doing with Ministry of Magic. I've never seen a Fantastic Beast movie, but I am sure the land is going to kick butt. I'm really excited. Everything that they're doing over Epic, and the location, which makes it a lot easier to get to from my house. I just hop on John Young Parkway and go straight up to what's that one with the D? The
You can go to John Young to Destination Parkway because
Destination Parkway.
that's where the Wawa is being built right now. I've called it the Epic Universe Wawa. That's my nickname for it. Make a left turn there and go down Destination Parkway. Yeah, exactly.
There's
To Epic Boulevard.
There's the complex just north of the, where the Walmart is there on Sand Lake, and then just north of that is a huge industrial complex where Amazon has huge warehouses that I know I used to deliver out of for a very short period of time. I've done way too much crap in my life. Trying to make ends meet, the darn ends.
I hear you. Plus, also remember Brightline, the one that Disney noped out on,
so
will have
that's going to come that way?
Station there. Yeah, it's going to come that way. It's going to be part of the 528 corridor.
When I saw the and I can't remember now because I just did a show on this the other day, but I did the article from Orlando Sentinel that was interviewing, I think his name was Jeff something, the park general manager of Epic. And he was talking about even the roadways that they're building off Kirkman to go straight from Epic to Universal Complex. He said I'm even excited about those. Like, if you can get excited about roadways, I'm excited about what they're doing there too. And I mean, that's, it says a lot, because what I like about all this is, I know we're going to get to the Disney stuff, but in my opinion, none of the Disney stuff pluses Orlando as a whole, right? Epic is not just plussing Universal, it is plussing Orlando as as a vacation destination. And it's so good for the improvement of the community. And that's an amazing thing. That's something Disney has not done in a long time. And as a matter of fact, one of the things that I'm really bothered by what they did do was minusing, I call it minusing the community when they destroyed the where the pirates, gosh, what is the name? The Crossroads, I think it's called the Crossroads Complex.
Yes, the Crossroads Shopping Center. Yes. I was not happy about that. That used to be the one place that was, you could go outside the Disney park, and then you had like all those little shops and over there where you could go grab something to eat or go to the market. It was very convenient. And then when I moved down here and I'm going to Disney Springs, I look and I'm like, where did it freaking go?
Yeah.
They totally got rid of it.
It's all for a highway exit. And
yeah,
here's the thing. That was planned way back because they were supposed to have that highway exit originally done for the 50th anniversary of Disney, because they expected so many new guests, an influx of guests for the 50th anniversary, which of course didn't happen because of the closures of everything in 2020. And it's it's another testament to really, really, really poor planning, and just awful. And there's still nothing there to this day. It's just a big old empty field, and it's kind of grotesque to see it like that.
Yeah. And just to add to Ron's point, I'm trying to go over here to Google Maps. The iDrive corridor was pretty much dying. They've got Icon Park there, which not that many people really know about. You kind of have to stumble on it. But that was one of the original tourist areas. And a lot of people really had not been going there because of that. But the fact that, let me see here, that they're building Epic Universe, and I keep trying to spot. Okay, here we go. Okay. So here's I-4. Here's Universal Boulevard right here. All this area in here is Epic Universe. Here's Icon Park, Ripley's Believe It or Not, iDrive. Here's iDrive right here. So here's iDrive. Here's the Orange County Convention Center. And here basically is Epic Universe. It is going to bring a lot of businesses, like over here on Universal Boulevard. I noticed there's like these little groups of shops. You would not pay attention to these shops any other time. Now there's going to be a big, huge theme park right across the way from that. So a lot of these little, boutique shops that are there are going to get a super huge increase in foot traffic. So Ron, you're absolutely right. It is going to bring a lot of money, a lot of foot traffic, a lot of eyes on experiences that people really don't know about. I mean, a lot of people don't know that there's Andretti's go-karts that are there.
I do. I know really well. It's like a couple blogs on my channel about Andretti's that they don't get much attention, but that's where my son's school goes every year for an event.
Yeah, there it is. Yep, Andretti's indoor indoor karting and games. You got Dave and Buster's. There's golf that's right over there. There's Pirate Cove's Adventure Golf that's going on right there. There's so many things down here. And then of course Icon Park. So that's where you've got like the Orlando Eye. I guess it's like the London Eye, pretty much the same thing. The Wax Museum is there. The aquarium, which is really awesome, is there. I have to do a video on that, but I wanted to go experience some of these things. I like to experience first and then go back and do a video so I don't forget things. And I'll wrap this up. I see you guys, almost 50 of you guys in here. When we talk about the amount of land, okay, all of this that I'm like, this was all Lockheed Martin property. Now Lockheed Martin is only over here now. So if Lockheed Martin decides to pop, smoke, and leave and say, hey, Epic, you wanted to buy it. I'm paraphrasing here. And this is how much you said that you were going to give to us. They have here's the Helios Hotel. Okay. They have all of this space over here, literally, to expand. And that's what I think a lot of people do not understand. There is size that you see and size you don't see. This whole area was like a black box. We didn't know what was over there because Rocky didn't want us to know.
It's gonna be it's gonna be interesting what the traffic situation is, and then I'm trying to look on this map, kind of envisioning where it might go if they ever decided to do a Buc-ee's in the area.
Buc-ee's is so big.
Can you imagine?
Its footprint is just so large. But yes, as a fan of Wawa who grew up with Wawa in Philly, yeah, Buc-ee's is better. It's better and different at the same time. Wawa is like that boutique quick experience that you want. Buc-ee's, man, Buc-ee's is crazy, but Epic Universe, they were building, they had the concept art, then you saw the model, then you saw everything that they had already been building. So stuff is coming. Unlike, and here's where we are, the meat of today's discussion, the D23 Experiences Showcase, which popped off last Saturday. If I'm not mistaken, over at the Honda Center, full of musical performances, and maybe I think a total of maybe 15 minutes in actual park announcements.
Real quick question: why does Disney keep insulting the names of former Epcot attractions? I mean, like, what an insult that little cafeteria was to Communicore, right? The name Communicore. Now they've insulted Horizons, one of the greatest attractions they ever made and demolished, by calling this the Horizons. It's because that word not associated with Disney is different, but when you associate it with Disney, you associate it to one of the greatest attractions they ever had and then destroyed. And now they're putting that name on that. They know what they're doing. And it's such an insult to the memory of the great attraction.
I think it is how would you call it? It's a cheap shot as far as I'm concerned, as a Disney fan. Like, for example, bringing up Horizons, I remember that attraction and how cool it was. So then again, I have to remember, and I use this term a lot, D23, the people attending D23, I'll say 80% of them are super, super diehard pixie dusters. And it's kind of like with the member berries that's going on. Remember Horizons? Guess what? We're going to give you something as exciting. Of course, this is probably what they're thinking when they do this. But I look at it, I'm kind of like the 20% that's like, are you serious? You do remember what you did with that. But keep that in mind, because when we start talking about what the plan is, and I'm going to emphasize the word plan, I think I can see why exactly they use that name, D23 Array for for the most part. Yes, it's exactly what it is, especially given how much it is because I almost did, and then I saw how much it was, and then I saw how much the hotels were around, and I said, no, if they come to Orlando, I'll go, but I wasn't spending money on that.
They do like every other year something. What do they call it?
Yeah,
when they do Orlando D20, but it's not called. It's called something else.
yeah, something a little different. But I said if they come to Orlando, I'll do it. I skipped, I think the last one they had, I had just moved, so I couldn't really attend. But we're going to go through the stuff that's been announced for Walt Disney World. We'll talk about that. And the one thing that's coming to Disneyland that a lot of people are not particularly happy about. So let's see, where should we start here? We're going to start from the bottom up. Okay, so the first thing that we've got here, they're going to be bringing Mando and Grogu to Smugglers Run. Now, one of the things that I will say, Smugglers Run is one of the most disappointing attractions that I have ever been in. Remember those video games way back in the day where they were big, like set one by one, and there was a screen, and it almost looked like the screen was maybe printed or something like that. It looked really, really cheesy. That's what the graphics in Smugglers Run looks like. It is so awful. It's not how would I say it? Whoever did it
It's not
had no
photorealistic
idea.
CGI.
Exactly. It's
It
not
is,
not
it is 1998 video game level CGI, and I'm not kidding.
Yes. Ron is completely right. As someone like myself, I did graduate work with simulators, with like visual simulators. I'm like, this is technology from 15 years ago. This looks absolutely horrible. And if you're not like the pilot, you're kind of just press a button, press a
Boom,
button,
boom, boom.
press the button.
Have you been in Space 220, Lorena?
I have not yet.
Okay,
No.
so same thing with Space 220. When you go into, and I've never eaten there, but I'm friends with the restaurant manager, so she took me up. And there's supposed to be the simulation of a space elevator that you ride for like 2 seconds and get up into space 220 miles above. But you're leaving, you see, like you're going up from Epcot, and I'm going to right now, Google Earth does a better job. When you go in there and you see that CGI and you're supposed to be leaving and going up into outer space to the Space 220 restaurant, the CGI is awful. You can look down, you can look up, it's above you and below you, and I'm thinking, is it the screens? Because if it's not the screens and they can replace this and upgrade the CGI, they should do it because it looks rushed. And this looks rushed. The Millennium Falcon Smugglers Run. Do you remember when there were supposed to be 3 different stories that you might get one of the 3? And do you remember that everything you did in there was supposed to affect the rest of your experience when you get into the rest of Galaxy's Edge? And stormtroopers were supposed to come up to you knowing that you did it because of your magic band or whatever and going, hey, we know what you did on Smugglers Run, come with us, blah blah blah. None of that has happened.
None, because they cheaped out. And with these graphics, I don't know if they, well, probably did source it to the lowest bidder because they just look absolutely awful. Now, with this, oh, we're going to bring Mando and Grogu. And then they also made it a big deal that they're going to be using the latest version of Unreal Engine. Let me tell you why this is important. Do you know who owns Unreal Engine, Ron?
No, I do not.
Epic Games. Epic Games owns the Unreal Engine software, which anybody can pretty much use to render your own environments. I've seen Unreal Engine being used. I think Hogwarts Legacy used Unreal Engine. A couple of other games do. Here's the thing with Unreal Engine. It's a tool like anything else. I've seen amazing games using Unreal Engine that put together. I don't trust Disney to actually exploit Unreal Engine in the best way. It's either way, it's just like, okay, why make it a big deal that you're going to use Unreal Engine? You basically anybody can use Unreal Engine to do things with, but I don't know if they did that because they had to give that heads up to what's his name? To Epic Games because they have that right. They have that collab with Fortnite. So probably like, hey, you need to talk about Unreal Engine as well. Pretty much the people there at D23 are not really going to catch that. Gamers will catch that reference about Unreal Engine. And let me see, somebody said something else. Yeah, that's what I heard too. Yeah, she did say that. I had a reservation for Space 220 and dropped it because I didn't want to risk having the worst time. At least not then. I will still review Space 220, but I had a
Go to the
better
bar.
option that came up. Yeah,
I
it
was
was
gonna
for
say
the
go
lounge.
go to the lounge because that you'll have a better experience.
Mm-hmm. Probably try that. So is Windows. Yeah, pretty much. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. It's that bad.
It might be Windows 3.1.
It is just freaking bad. I know Unreal decently well as I've watched it improve over the years via the Borderlands games. Yeah. So this is what they're saying. We're basically we're getting a software upgrade to Smugglers Run. But here's the thing. This isn't slated to come out until the Mando and Grogu film. So again, vaporware until it becomes apparent. It might be Windows NT. Wouldn't surprise me because it is shamefully bad. I mean, just absolutely freaking horrible. So let's see. Let's go from that to the one thing I am excited about from this panel, which I talked about, which is the nighttime parade coming to Magic Kingdom next summer. Now, they do need a nighttime parade because, well, number one, there's really not a lot to do in the evening. I remember when they had, well, everybody remembers the Main Street Electrical Parade. Shoot, that was freaking legendary. Then they came out with Spectral Magic, which I loved Spectral
On
Magic.
this magic night.
I love that the music, the little ones on the rolling balls and everything, and it was just such a gorgeous, wonderful parade with a wonderful score. It was so uplifting. I loved it. It was one of those parades where the cast members would like be dancing because they loved the music too, and with the cast and with the guests and everything. It was just a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous fun hotel parade. So it will be a version of the electrical parade. Yes, think of it with LED lights instead, because the electrical parade kind of had the static bulbs. Spectral Magic had like had a lot of fiber optics. Now I remember correctly, it was a lot of fiber optics. So with this, it's mostly LEDs that they're going to be bringing out. So they'll have like an Encanto float. I'm trying to remember what else that they're going to have. That's there, and Peter Pan and Kanto Frozen and more, brought to life by the magic of the Blue Fairy. Now, here's why the Blue Fairy kind of trips my memory, and hopefully the Ginger Ninja is still in the chat as he's in Japan. Didn't Tokyo Disneyland have a nighttime parade that featured the Blue Fairy? I remember seeing video of that and it was so gorgeous. And my comment was, how come we can't freaking get that parade? It was just amazing. Thank you, Avarice Karma. Again, Tokyo Dreamlight Parade copy, maybe. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that it is. And if I was smart enough, I would have had this up here already.
This is the one announcement I was actually kind of excited about because I'm like, thank God, because Magic Kingdom, that's like how do you have Magic Kingdom without a nighttime parade? It's been there the whole time. So it's nice to see that they are trying to do something right. I just hope and pray that this parade is not going in front of construction walls for the next 4 years. That's my prayer right now.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I hope they do a good job with the nighttime parade. I hope it's not just another Disney underwhelming thing. Yeah, because I remember back in the day where you had the daytime parade and then you had the nighttime parade as well, right before, the fireworks would start. And it was a big deal. It's something that's sorely needed. So I hope that they do this right. And Laughing Place, please don't copyright claim me for this, but since you guys have it, this is the Tokyo Disneyland
There we go.
Electrical Parade Dreamlights.
Cool, very cool.
This brings back, oh my gosh, this brings back memories for me. So brings back, look at, Minnie who's up there. Fabulous. This is a cut and paste that I can live with if they do it right, like just plus it up, subvert our expectations in a good way, that you use this as the basis and say, what can we do to change it up? One Horse Open Sleigh says Tokyo Disneyland MSCP Dreamlights is my favorite parade ever. I looked when I first saw this. Oh my gosh, I was just like, look at the Cheshire Cat. I'm done.
Tokyo
Look at this.
All the good stuff.
Look at this. Alice,
cool.
and he disappears. And
the other good thing about this is now you can keep the park open later for those guests that like the park open later, because obviously if the park is open later, people are spending more money, and Disney needs people to spend more money.
Yeah, they desperately do, because the parks, oh my gosh, the parks are like a ghost town compared to the way that it used to be. There used to be like so many people you couldn't move. Look at this. Oh my God.
Look, and the one thing I notice about this float is that she's not forcing dwarves to do work after they invite her into her home.
True.
Thanks for letting me stay here, but you guys need to clean this place up first.
You need to clean up, and you're not doing it right. No, you just have her right here. There's the chipmunks and the bunny, and she doesn't have long sleeves, and she's got the big collar like she's supposed to be. Like, no. Yeah, Nita, that blew my mind. It wasn't just the Cheshire Cat. You had the unique quality to the Cheshire Cat where he disappeared. And he came. Pete's Dragon. Okay, y'all, I'm about to cry right now. Remember Pete's Dragon from the Electrical Parade? Oh my gosh. It was just so gorgeous.
Music's going through my head now. Was it Baroque Hoedown? That's the name of that music, Baroque Hoedown.
Mm-hmm. And it's great. And you know what? Mama Saurus Rex says, so basically, if I want the praise nostalgia, I need to go to Japan. For right now, yes. It is not lost on, we'll say, whoever's in charge of tourism over in Japan, that there are Americans who want the original Walt Disney World experience. Oh, yeah. Disney over here got rid of their Splash Mountain. You know what Tokyo Disneyland did? A max promo for their Splash Mountain to get you even more soaked. That's what they went and did. Oh my gosh, this parade, if Disney brings this parade and do it right, and it works, and it works. There's no reason this shouldn't work. All you're doing is basically a cut and paste, and they bring it over here. It really is going to plus things up in the evening for the park. So I'm excited. I'm very much excited about this. Cautiously excited because Disney hasn't had a good track record with transporting or transplanting experiences. You know, Tron, Ratatouille. You know, so hopefully they will get this right. Let me see if I can find. Here it is. This is what triggered my memory. This is the Blue Fairy, y'all.
Wow.
The Blue Fairy from Pinocchio. This is what I remember seeing when I first heard about this parade. And on Twitter, well, at the time, I was like, how come we can't get this? Why do we not have this? And you look at it, and again, with the Main Street Electrical Parade, with that one, the lights were static just because of the technology at the time. The lights were static, or they could turn things on and off. Here, you've got fiber optics going on, LED lights going on. There's so much that's going on with this that it looks gorgeous. And this is what I'm talking about. If they bring this here, they need to bring it. They need to bring it better than the Japanese did with this, because to me, this is gold standard. And when I see it, I think of how much they obviously must have loved the Main Street Electrical Parade.
Makes me think of Darth Vader, which I know that seems strange, but I think of him going, impressive. Most impressive.
Most impressive. And this is, wow. This is so.
Look at that's so cool. That's very, very cool.
My jaw just dropped looking at this. So again, led by the Blue Fairy. So we'll see. If they can't beat this Blue Fairy, don't even do it. You need to have at least this or better. And yeah, we'll see what happens. We shall definitely see what happens. So yes, that is going to be the all new nighttime parade coming to the Magic Kingdom in time for 2025. Of course, I will be doing videos about the progress of this parade. I'm highly invested in it. And if they do this in Kanto Float, the way that it should be done, if they have Isabella moving her hands around and you start to see the flowers and stuff generate, yes, this is exactly what I'm thinking in my mind. They need to have that effect. And they better. So, oh, I still have the Blue Fairy in my mind. Okay, so we did Mando and Grogu, the nighttime parade. So let's see. Let's go on over here to Tropical Americas. My my washing machine just went crazy right now in a good way. It's doing work. So Tropical Americas, which is going to unfortunately take over Dino Land. Now, I love Dino Land. I know some people didn't like Dino Land, but Chester and Hester's, I love that. Primeval Whirl, that is one of the most fun roller coasters that I've been on. It was a very interesting and different concept. So the kids happen to like that. But now they got rid of that. There's just Midway games that are there. Chester and Hester's is not long for this world. That's one of the best gift shops actually over there.
Gift shop's so cool.
Yeah,
it's really a 90s throwback to the theming in that gift shop. That's where did you get your magnet yet?
No, not yet.
Okay, you get it in Chester and Hester's. I picked it up yesterday, and just to go back in that shop and the theming of it, wow, it's just like, oh god, so cool.
The theming,
but the biggest thing for me in this land, and I feel like South America needs the representation in the parks. So I don't like that they had to replace Dino Land to do it. But the biggest thing for me is the Boneyard. The Boneyard is the best toddler play area, like kids will really 1-year-old to 13 to 15-year-old, honestly. Um, and some of those slides adults can fit on too. And it is such a cool play. I mean, how many slides are back there? Like 10 or something? And there's a ton of slides and all kinds of little caves that you go through. And it could be easily be incorporated into a South American, Central America theming. I mean, it's not like dinosaur digs aren't all over the world. They are. So you could incorporate it. And I'm worried that they're going to get rid of it because they seem to be trying. And maybe you've seen this. This is what I'm noticing. They seem to be trying to get rid of all of the kids' play areas in all the parks.
I would have to 100% agree with you on that. The dinosaur dig, that was something that when I brought like my nieces and nephews and camera girl all to Walt Disney World, they loved that spot in the animal kingdom. It's one of those spots where adults could just get a break and you can just let the kids run around and do whatever. And also the dinosaur dig site is perfect with the theme of conservation, which is what the animal kingdom, the overall mission of the animal kingdom is, like to educate people about the conservation of resources, of nature, all of that. So the kids could go around, dig stuff up, slide up and down, go around like a cool dinosaur dig. And it was, I think they had like misters over there, I think, for when it got hot. So it was a nice area for the kids to kind of burn off some energy because you want them to go to sleep at the end of the night. And yet it was always a big deal with Disney with, hey, we have got this great play area for the kids. Remember I think they used to have one for Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. And I can't remember if that was at
at the Hollywood Studios. It's at the
they
studios, right on the corner when you would go down New York Street towards Lights, Motors, Action, and you turn right toward the backlot tour. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids play area was right in there. We've been so many times. They have a giant Play-Doh thing and slides in that area. And that's why I was saying they've been systematically removing these really nice kids play areas where exactly right. The kids get to play and the adults get a break. And Tom Sawyer's is like that too. Tom Sawyer's Island, the kids can play, the adults can get a break, but more importantly, you don't have to go all the way back to your hotel to get that midday rest. Magic Kingdom, obviously, when you look at how it was conceived, it was like, and this is what, the 1960s when they conceived all this, like this perfect park where you have the different generations all able to enjoy together. And they seem to be removing more and more of that and catering to the exact crowd that Lillian Disney was against. She's like, I don't want alcohol in the parks because I don't want the carny crowd to come here. And I'm like, now Disney has totally swayed and they're trying to get the carny crowd to come to Disney. They're building bars in the Magic Kingdom.
Yes.
Like, what the heck?
Bars. And here's another thing, not just to get away from your hotels, but for people who were day guests, that was also a nice place for them to get a break. They didn't have to really go anywhere else. They could just say, you know what, we're just going to over here rest and relax. And it was a nice place to like let off steam and to kind of regroup about what's the next thing that they were going to do. So it served like both of those groups. Now I was excited to hear about Encanto Land. I not as much as I loved Coco for other reasons, but with Encanto I loved that film. Part of my family's heritage on my mother's side, my dad's side, is actually from Colombia. So seeing that family is very reflective of my family's history. So I saw about that, and I remember being on Pro Show where I said if they bring Encanto to the animal kingdom, they need to do it through the character Antonio. Antonio's a kid. Antonio's a biracial kid. Antonio's gift is to be able to communicate with animals. And if he could tell the story of why it's important, especially again on a kid's level, why it's important to, you know, conserve animal life and to learn about animals. I said, if they bring it in there that way, okay, I don't have a problem with that because I can't see any other way of them just dropping it in there unless they have that particular anchor point. And it looks like what they're going to do is have like a little ride. Again, folks, this is vaporware. It's not done yet. This is concept art. They haven't even started really doing anything with it. But just looking at the artwork here, again, keep in mind, Disney seems to be going on that Temu model where we get the art and then it's not yeah, we get that wish, how it started, how it's going. But here it's like you see Antonio, he's on the leopard. That's his gift. And what they're saying is for this one, inside the casita, Antonio has just received his special gift, the ability to communicate with animals, and his room is transformed into a rainforest. Makes sense. Time to go exploring along with him, and you never know what member of the family you might bump into. Now, they have the potential for this to be absolutely freaking amazing. It's the execution that will most likely be the problem. And we have a track record when it comes to Disney about such things. So it's not like, remember back in the day when Disney would announce something, you knew they were going to pull it off. And it's not like that anymore. We saw what happened with Tron. We saw what happened with, well, not as bad with Remy's Ratatouille Adventure. And of course, we saw Tiana's Bayou Adventure. But they cannot screw this up. Why? You have a lot of Latinos who visit Walt Disney World. They F this up. Not gonna be good. Not gonna be good at all. But there's also like I saw a bit up earlier. They're actually gonna have like a carousel that is going to be made out of carved carved Disney characters. So they make a carousel. So that's kind of nice for the kids. Not particularly excited about it as Epic Universe will have their Celestial carousel.
Will the animal carousel, will that be where Triceratops spin is? Because it's already like...
I think so.
Yeah. I mean, it's literally designated for that type of right. I was there yesterday, and there's a ton of space where Primeval World used to be, but also behind it, there's a lot of land that's not being used before you get to the parking lot, because that's up, it butts up against the parking lot right there. So there's a good amount of space there. I know they didn't announce any animal attractions, but I know logistically this would be hard. All the animals, as you know, are on the back side of the park, and that's where they have their nighttime enclosures and everything. So logistically, yes, it's difficult to have animals on this side of the park, but I hope that they can do something if they're going to have Central South America represented, some type of a rainforest walkthrough where you can actually see real animals that would, be in that part of Central South America. Some type of an animal exhibit needs to happen if you're going to have all this there. And
Agreed. So we will see what they will do with this. I'm not too impressed about the carousel because, quite frankly, one, we already have the carousel that's at the Magic Kingdom, and two, Universal has already plussed up the carousel experience. If you've ever gone on the carousel, you need to go on the carousel. That is insane how they have that done. And then there's the Celestial Carousel that's going to be coming to Epic Universe. So it's a safe bet for Disney, but then again, we have to see what kind of execution is going on.
They're
And
not going to get the food right. You know they're not.
yeah, key word being execution. It's kind of just like watching somebody where you're just like, you know what, I wonder if they're going to pull it off. But in the back of your mind, you're like, you know, they're not. So you've got the popcorn and the camera to capture just when stuff goes sideways. That's, you know, that's the attitude I have. But then they're putting Indiana Jones over there. And this I don't understand. And this is my question. I'm like, okay, Josh, why are you trying to put an experience that's quintessentially Disneyland? Because I've been there. I've been there on the Indiana Jones attraction at Disneyland. That's awesome. Why do you feel the need to import that over here into the animal kingdom? The only thing that I see sort of fits is this new story that they have about the Maya temple. But they're going to get rid of dinosaur in order to do it.
Now, is this old Indiana Jones where he gets smacked in the head at the end of the ride and wakes up somewhere?
If they put Phoebe Waller-Bridge in this sucker, no, nobody's going on it.
She'll be replacing Claire Huxtable.
Yeah. It makes zero sense to me. I mean, Encanto, I can understand. Indiana Jones, this is an unnecessary IP push in. Let's put it this way. If they didn't get rid of dinosaur and they just put in an Indiana Jones show about the conservation of relics, although I don't really consider the conservation of relics to be consistent with the mission of Animal Kingdom. It just does not seem to fit with me. If I put on my Imagineer hat and I recall something that Joe Rohde said. Granted, I don't like Joe Rohde's politics, but dude is a goat when it comes to Imagineering. And his whole thing is, does it fit the mission and the theme of the park? Does it fit the theme of conservation? If it doesn't need to go there. And for folks who don't know, Joe Rohde basically got pushed out of Disney. I mean, they've got him back on some kind of teaching thing, but they didn't really want him there, you know? And he basically created, I want to say, the Animal Kingdom is one of the last places where you can find old school Imagineering. Honestly, that's how
it is. It is the best themed park of any of the 4 theme parks at Walt Disney World. Theming specifically, it is absolutely the best themed park. And you go and you look at the detail on Expedition Everest and the queue.
Oh my gosh,
yes.
yes.
On the Maharaja. The Maharaja trek, you're not just seeing animals, you're not just seeing tigers and bats, but the theming when you go back there and the story behind the 4 princes and all of the different things. I mean, like when people when I see arguments online, this is people's least favorite park, it's the hottest park, it's a half-day park. I'm like, if you only experience this park for a half a day, you are missing a lot of things because there is so much to discover. Going back on to Rafiki's Planet Watch, which I did a whole video on just Rafiki's Planet Watch and seeing what's back there. And you might even get lucky enough to see them working, the veterinarians working on an animal on the table back at Rafiki's Planet Watch. People don't even know. It's like, how are you? By the way, did you guys know that the entire time the train was down at Magic Kingdom, there was still another train operating at Walt Disney World and Animal Kingdom full? I mean, it's like people miss Animal Kingdom, and I love this park. It's they could have expanded Dino Land, but I I understand why they went this direction with it. But again, you're right with Indiana Jones. That really doesn't need to be in a South American section. It feels like they could have done something different with Indiana Jones,
Yeah.
or than
Yeah, and
I
I
should say
didn't.
than Indiana Jones. Not. I mean,
Mhm.
Zootopia would have been an interesting exploration as a ride rather than something to put under, where Bug's Life is.
Yeah, and this is I'm probably going to wind up calling Josh tomorrow Destroyer of Parks. Uh, a Bug's Life. First of all, the queue is amazing. The fact that it's underground with, the music that you hear, it's like it's made with bug noises and everything. So you go in there and the theme, the whole thing, okay, with how it's set up, it is literally about the importance of insects to how things are on the planet with regard to how we're able to live, what certain bugs do. I liked having the hopper animatronic show up. That was kind of fun. The spiders coming down from the sea. I mean, it's the whole theater with how they have it set up with that experience, even though you're wearing 3D glasses, is amazing. And the end is hilarious. I'm so not going to spoil it, but you got to wait for the bugs to leave. And I just love waiting there to see people's response because people are like, "What are you talking about?" Just the little touches. It's perfect. Now they're going to drop Zootopia into it. And what does Zootopia have to do with animal conservation?
Not a thing. Not a thing. I think that they would have been better off to open a section of the park where they do naked animal yoga, Zootopia. Like, it is.
Or you can have the sloths from the DMV. I mean, that was actually kind of funny, but I don't get it. Yeah, Avarice. Yeah, him as well. Him as well. I'm not Jeff Bale off the hook either. I wasn't too when he was coming back. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. I don't see the destruction really starting. Yeah, and this is what I'm talking about. And I'm glad you brought this up, Dance Life at the Kingdom. A Bug's Life, almost from like a kid's point of view, you could understand what was going on. And even with Flick saying, remember, kids, magnifying glasses are for finding things, not burning things. So the kids learn these importance of why certain bugs are important. And they're going to go from the importance of the insect world to teaching acceptance among animals. Um, if there was acceptance among animals, they would, the gorillas would be in the same habitat as the crocodiles. Just no, no.
What a crock.
Literally, what a crock. And this is what I'm talking about when you see this stuff and you see these announcements and you're just like, I'm sorry, do you really understand the mission of the park? Do you really understand why these things are there? And it's not like you're plussing things up and staying true to the mission. It's just like, oh, we're gonna put this here. Zootopia, we're plussing up that IP. No, 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 no. If you wanted to plus things up, first of all, you would put it in a studio. Second of all, you would give us what you put over there in Shanghai.
Yeah. And here's the other thing about it. Disney, I think, could save a lot of money instead of trying to flip an attraction that, like, say they want to make A Bug's Life more relevant and more popular.
Mhm.
Here's an idea: Bug's Life show on Disney Plus. I mean, how difficult would that be? You could really make the IP relevant again, and get the interest up. Um, it's I don't know. I just
They're Paul
I
Pressler
think
3.0
nowadays
people.
everybody
Hmm.
that is in the upper echelon of not creatives, executives at Disney, they don't have creative brains. I mean, if
No,
they would listen to guests and take
no.
suggestions, God, it's all you got to do. Hey, Disney, just listen to your fans instead of trying to shove and force feed your fans what you want. It just really, really
Well,
weird.
I'll bring Universal up again. There are people who felt that they couldn't be creative at Disney, so they go to other companies, including Universal. Like when you, case in point, for folks who didn't know, Islands of Adventure, former Disney Imagineers. And you can tell as soon as you get into Islands of Adventure how things look, how things are scaled, how things feel, all of that, the immersion that's in there and the creative touches, that they have. And I believe that that is what happened. Disney went through, and it was obvious when you see what was going on, creative brain drain. And speaking of creative brain drain, trying to skip because we got a couple more things to get to. Monsters Inc. land announced for Hollywood Studios. Now, apparently, I have heard this thing about the Doors coaster like for years. So now they announced this at D23. And I just have one question when I saw this. Where are they gonna put it? Where are they gonna put it? Again, we have another IP. And yeah, it's like where are you gonna put this thing? Well, it's interesting that you should say that because, and this is actually from that Park Place. Will Disney destroy the last bit of Jim Henson's legacy with Monsters Inc. at Hollywood Studios? Now, there's two places supposedly where it's being rumored where it could go. Indiana Jones, I don't think that's really going there. I don't think they're getting rid of that stunt show. As for Animation Courtyard, yeah, the launch bay is back there. Hardly anybody goes to that. Yeah, there's a backstage offices here. But here's the thing to remember about Animation Courtyard. Okay. The Little Mermaid show is coming back.
Maybe.
Hmm.
I
They've
was
got the casting. They had, I saw the casting calls. I saw the god awful outfits. Oh my gosh, I can't believe what yeah, I do believe what they did to Ariel's outfit because
I'm
apparently the seashell bra is a problem.
I'm auditioning for Ariel actually on that one. So apparently I meet the qualifications now. If you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah,
You can be
there's
Eric.
just, oh no, no thank you. No thank you. Not at all. They're going to build something else down. Yeah, I'm hearing allegedly launch bay. WW News Today says Muppets is safe. Here's my point of view, because again, I'm an engineer. The joke is eventually you have to yeet the engineer. Nothing is safe.
No, it's true.
Nothing is safe. If I look at this area over here, it's like, yeah, they could put it here. It's possible that they could put it there. But when I look at this concept art, I'm not really getting animation courtyard
Actually,
vibes from
it look
that.
okay. Just looking exactly at this concept art specifically, to the right looks like where you turn the corner where Baseline Tap House is now.
Yes.
Monstropolis looks exactly where the shop is, the shop and the theater for Muppets, and over to the left looks like where Pizza Rizzo is. It, if nothing else, and maybe it will change, but it does look like the concept art was drawn as an overlay to literally what exists right there in Muppets Courtyard right now.
Exactly. And this is what keeps throwing me off. Launch Bay, hardly anybody goes back there. And again, like I said, there's going to be the theater for the new Little Mermaid show that they're doing. So unless they move that show someplace else, which I don't think that they're going to do, they'll have it there. So I don't really, and again, this is just me spitballing. I really don't see them having the Little Mermaid here and the merchandise for the Little Mermaid, because there's a merchandise store that's over there as well. And then you're going to put Monstropolis here. I mean, I have
And
kind of a problem visualizing that right
you
now,
would
unless they move
have
something down the back.
you would have to get rid of Disney Play. What can't I think of it? The kids. What's the kids
Yeah, the
show?
kids meet and greet. But kind of at this point, Disney's like bumped them kids. So it
Well,
was.
the other thing that is in the backside of that, like it's a really big building where that kids show is, and there's a, a huge cast member cafeteria back there as well. And
Mhm.
I don't see them being able to get rid of the cast member cafeteria. Uh, it's I don't know. We'll see. Well, I mean, they also have
Well,
just bucket loads of space in the parking lot that never gets used. So whatever.
that backstage. Well, this used to be the huge gift shop that they used to have for the Muppets that, still had Muppets theming in it, from like the hotel, the sight gags, all that stuff that was in there. So right now I am of the opinion where, what, if it goes in animation courtyard, yeah, that would be great. But me, I'm thinking foot traffic. I'm thinking foot traffic. And over to the left, of course, is going to be where you have Star Tours. Okay. Wouldn't surprise me if they also got rid of Star Tours as well. You've got Star Tours, and then there's this whole New York area where Muppets is, and then Galaxy's Edge. I hope I'm wrong. I hope to heck that I'm wrong, because I love the Muppets, but I am already predisposed to thinking, if you're gonna knock it down, and of course there's gonna be a bar across the street, which I already have, I'm still thinking nothing is sacred. Nothing is sacred. And it would
Can
not
you
surprise me if they got rid of Muppets.
can you imagine the popularity of Star Tours today if they had followed the original plan for Galaxy's Edge, where you have the Jedi Training Academy show right there. You
Mm-hmm.
enter, you enter um, the Star Tours ride, right? And remember how when Galaxy's Edge opened, you get up, the last scene in Star Tours is you landing in Batu, right? You landed in
Mm-hmm.
Galaxy's Edge, but then you walked out and you weren't there. But I
Right.
believe the original plan was that they were going to build it where some parking lot is now, and you would have exited the building the other way instead of through the Tatooine shop, and you would have exited and you would have been dropped right literally where you had landed in Batu for Star Tours. And that would have been, like, obviously incredible theming the way it's supposed to be, but also it just would have made everything flow so much better than the way and they wouldn't have had to destroy the streets of America or anything. I don't know. It's just it's so many of the decisions that Disney has made, and maybe it's cost-cutting decisions, but they've been so convoluted. And I miss so much of the good things that we used to have at Hollywood Studios that I feel like I posted this today on X. Walt Disney's thing when he first was announcing the Florida Project and that whole film. Nobody ever saw it until after he passed away. But Walt Disney, one of his biggest things was, look at all the space. Look at all the space here we have to do
What
everything we
about the
want
area
with in
where
Florida. And
you
then They don't use it.
No. Stitch Lover, you mean like over? I keep calling it
That's
Pixar
small.
Place. Yeah, that's way too small. If you're trying to recreate Monstropolis, you need a good amount of space to do that with. Again, this is why I think, and it'd be great if I'm wrong, that whole area that they're just going to get rid of. That they're going to get rid of the Muppets. That they're going to do something with, because right now Star Tours doesn't fit. They don't even use the stage that they used to use for the Jedi Academy. And it's almost, well, it's not almost, it is. It's divorced from what they have in Galaxy's Edge, because like you said, Ron, the original plan before Kathleen Kennedy said, hey, we don't need to base this on stuff 55-year-old white guys like from Star Wars. We need to base it on the new stuff. That whole area was literally going to be a replica of Tatooine, where you'd have Mos Eisley's Cantina, the stage where the Indiana Jones stunt show. They were going to use that as a theater, and I believe they used to use that for the hyperspace hoopla at Star Wars weekends. So that's not too far of a stretch. But that's what that whole thing was going to do, because when you go through Star Tours, you exit into Tatooine Traders. It looks like you're on Tatooine, and you were literally going to be put out on the streets of Tatooine. Jawas and Banthas. There was going to be Bantha rides and stuff like that. And they didn't do it.
No,
They
it
did
would have been
not do it.
would have been amazing had they followed that plan for Galaxy's Edge, but I don't
Would have been
know.
printing money. It would have been absolutely printing money, but they decided that they didn't.
And
They didn't
you know,
want to do that.
I keep thinking about the fact that they've lost out so much on the whole lightsaber thing, not making that interactive. Like, you know, when you have the lightsaber building experience, they could have said that, you know, this special building experience imbues you for a moment with the power of a Jedi and the ability to use the Force. And we'll let you know, go certain places in Galaxy's Edge, and you can use the hilt of your lightsaber, and it imbues you with the Force, and it interacts like the ones do at the Harry Potter land. And how did you miss out on that? Oh no, we'll cheapen it and we'll try to make something interactive on your phone that you already have.
Mm-hmm. Then again, you're talking about people who need to be creative, and the people who are truly creative are really no longer there. Or if they are there, they're being overruled.
Yeah.
And it's just hey, finish fire. It's just a mess. And Tom is right. The best thing over there in Galaxy's Edge is the Millennium Falcon photo op.
True.
That's what people go over there to do. That is actually done right. It's done great. If you go in the morning and Chewie comes out and he's working on the Falcon, people love that. Ray comes out, it's kind of like, yeah, whatever. But if Chewie comes out and he's working on a Falcon, people just, they just lose their minds.
You know,
But
that R2D2 and C3PO are not walking around there. It just bugs the heck out of me. I mean, like, they're still around. They're still around. They exist in that time period. BB-8, R2D2. I mean, you can't.
They just have the little area where the little droids can interact with each other, and yes, they can, and it's kind of cute to see that. I like that they have that out there, but still, it's just nah. But speaking of this one, and this is quite possibly the biggest piece of vaporware. There's an even bigger story than this, but the fact that they do this. Okay, villains cast a spell over Magic Kingdom with a new land. Epic Universe is already doing this.
Yeah. Better.
Yes, better.
Look at the concept art. Boy, that concept art looks awfully familiar.
Yeah, it really does, doesn't it? Doesn't it? With the thorns and the ominous weather and the manor here.
And not a single Disney villain in the concept art.
Not a one. Not a one. It wouldn't surprise me if they said, okay, you know that art that Epic Universe released for Dark Universe? We need to manipulate that to make it kind of look like we know what we're
AI
doing.
draw Epic's monsters concept art without the monsters in it. Oh, perfect. Boom. Two
Yeah,
seconds
we're just
later,
going to do
they
it. Yeah, Goof 435, yeah, Villains Land could be great, but this is Disney, so keep expectations very low. Let's put it this way. They did not announce a timeline. They're like, oh, it's an active development. What does that mean? Again, Disney has lost
active
the
development.
credibility to say, we're going to do this, and it actually shows up. With this is obvious. Epic Universe announced Dark Universe. People keep talking about it. Okay, let's bring up that Villains Land concept that we could possibly do. Here's another reason why I don't trust it. Okay. Over in Bay Lake Tower, there is a Villains Lounge. Villains Lounge. Of course, you got to be DVC or staying there to actually go. You have a Villains Lounge without villains in it. That's what struck me about that. I thought if you go up to the Villains Lounge, you got, probably Cruella saying it's been a long day, kicking her shoes off. Long day. No rest for the evil, or maybe it is. Have some kind of vibe going on. And they don't. It's just basically drinks and screens and really overpriced food. But this is not. I do not get Disney feels from this. I don't see the Chernabog. I don't see any of that. So for me, this is just like, okay, this is obviously, we don't want you to think about that other part. We want you to think about what we could possibly give you and maybe work on. I don't see this. I look at gosh, poison apples and magics aplenty. They've talked about this for so long, but you don't get. And here they say plans are drawn, dirt is moving. Okay, is it? Is it that somebody just got a shovel and they, picked up some dirt? That's dirt moving. Plans are drawn. What this is basically, no, guys, we're really going to do it this time. We're really going to do it. We're really going to do it this time. Yeah. What plans exactly? So I do not have much faith in this.
I'd like to do an impersonation of Josh tomorrow announcing D23 announcements from the backside. No, we're really doing this, guys. We really, really are.
Yeah, we're really gonna do this. We're really gonna do this. We promise this time. We're actually gonna do it. And I literally just lost one of my tabs that I was going to show you guys. But let me go back here. I cannot believe I lost that quickly. Oh, yeah. I have it. Okay. So Stitch Lover, who's been a member for 1 month, and thanks so much, all of you guys watching. Just thank you for what you do. I appreciate you. Well, thank you. I appreciate you guys too. You guys really inspire me to do stuff with this channel. So thank you so much, and thank you so much, Stitch Lover, for being a member for 1 month. If you look at this announcement, do you notice something's missing? Is there an announcement that was made at D23 that is not on the Disney Parks blog splash page right here?
Oh, cars.
Yes. And I didn't think about that when I did my video on D23. I'm like, I could have swore Cars was supposed to be in this. And I actually had to dig through their site and find it. Here's another bit of trivia. This panel was announced on August 11th, right? Look what they put out August 12th. What does that look like to you? I see Big Thunder Mountain back here. I see Broccoli Hill over there. That looks like the train station. This kind of looks like a Frontierland.
Yeah, I mean,
So what's going to go there in the middle? Ka-chow, new cars attraction to race into the Magic Kingdom. Now, this was put up on the blog August 11th. Why did they not link to this?
Oh yeah, because they didn't say anything about where it was going at the D23. They didn't say, and we're replacing a classic Tom Sawyer's Island and the Rivers of America, and of course that Liberty Bell that gets filled up every single time people ride it, and has great space to do wonderful things in. By the way, the Liberty Bell is gorgeous. I was just on it. It really is a gorgeous boat. But Josh didn't say we're replacing all that with this Ka-chow land.
No, look at that. It's just like, where the Liberty Bell is, the Rivers of America, that is like a heat sink, and this lovely hidden area where, again, a place people can go to get away from people and to kind of be transported back in time into Mark Twain's novels. Oh no, we're gonna pave paradise and put up a parking lot and
Literally.
a bunch
Literally.
of cars, literally. And for those of you who are not quite sure about the placement of it, okay, here's Rivers of America. I took this yesterday. There's Rivers of America. Okay, so this is right near the boat dock. There's Rivers of America. Okay. Right now I'm in line for the Haunted Mansion. Do you really want to hear cars running around? And you hear ka-chow, very likely, intruding on your experience in the Haunted Mansion, where it's supposed to be just creepy, that house at the end of the street. How close that is.
Yeah, none of that makes any sense at all. Well, first of all, them attempting to redefine what the word frontier means when the whole point that Walt put Frontierland is because he wanted to remind people of our nation's past and how we forged beyond the Mississippi River, which is what the Rivers of America represents, to the west as we pressed forward. It's not about, people think, oh, well, they're just replacing cowboys and Indians, right? Which, that's not what this is about. It's not about that aspect of the West, even though that stuff exists in the West. It's about us pressing forward to a new frontier and the history and the story of America. That's, I believe, why they want to get rid of this so much, because they're trying to erase American. And a lot of people have been pointing out, does this also mean the death of Liberty Square? Are they getting rid of all Liberty Square next as well?
Again, I'm a realist. I am a best case scenario and a worst case scenario. Best case scenario, they leave Liberty Square alone. Worst case scenario, Liberty Square as we know it will be gone and replaced with something else. And I don't want to think about that, but that's what I see. If you don't think Liberty Square is a problem, remember what happened when Trump became president. That is the first time I have ever seen Disney security inside the Hall of Presidents for people who, for some reason, couldn't keep their feelings in check and decide to disrupt the Hall of Presidents presentation just so they could protest Trump. and ruin everybody else's vacation because they want to be a jerk. So wouldn't surprise me considering how much they talk about it. They just obviously do not like Walt's vision. So it wouldn't surprise me if they tried to change that. And here's the other thing. Josh couldn't even be honest with the pixie duster-ish, the ultimate god tier pixie dusters, couldn't even tell them to their faces. They don't announce it until the day after they're all gone. And then they announce where this is going to go. And they're not real, I wouldn't say they're really split, but they did. Like, here's where it's going to go. And they talked about that's where they're going to put it, in Rivers of America. Couldn't be honest and tell people to their face that that's where they were going to put it. They wait until the day after and not only update their site, but there isn't even a link to the main splash page from D23 about this expansion.
I still wonder if they're going to end up, after the backlash, pulling back on it or not. The thing of it is, you've been to the Magic Kingdom a lot this year. I've been to the Magic Kingdom a lot this year. I don't see a need for the change to the Magic Kingdom in this way, especially when you have empty spaces. Stitch is sitting empty, right? Like, there's ain't nothing there. Why don't you do something there first? You want to put a Villain Land in? I think Villains should take priority over this Cars deal. But this, to me, is not about Cars. This is about Stories Matter and a handful of high-level executives who have been placed on DEI watch. It's going, the history of the United States is problematic because it involved whatever they want to say that involved. And we're literally offending 0.001% of the people that come to this park. We don't want to do that. So what we'll do is we'll put something in that will instead offend 99.99% of the people coming to this park. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. And obviously I'm exaggerating here, but it just doesn't make any sense.
You're really not, because let's step back a little bit. First, Jungle Cruise was a problem. It was problematic. They redid that, so now it's the PC Cruise, where literally the best part of that attraction is the queue. Honestly, I'm surprised they haven't touched the queue yet. Disney don't get any ideas. Then they moved over to Splash Mountain. They yeeted authentic Black American culture to drop this IP in. An attraction, mind you, that has not been operating in a steady state whatsoever since it was brought online.
It's cursed now. Let's be honest. It is cursed.
The curse of how would I say it? The curse of Brer Rabbit. And I really should have had this sucker up here. I'm gonna use that so darn much, because that's what they did. They got rid of that. They pretty much, well, I say they, we all know who we're talking about, Disney, demonizing anybody who protested against having that attraction changed. They couldn't put their own attraction up. They couldn't give Tiana her own attraction. They decided to give her something that didn't fit, wound up destroying this attraction. It's not even working the way that it should have. So they went and they did that and moved on to other things that you can see. So if they are able to screw up Jungle Cruise, screw up Splash Mountain, what makes you think that they won't do this to Tom Sawyer Island in order to, it's not about preserving Walt's vision. It's not about plussing stuff up with regards to Walt's vision. It's about the vision that they have for the parks, which is very divorced from what guests want to come and see, which is why you see guest attendance steadily decreasing. Magic Kingdom is like a ghost town a lot of times, nowhere near the level that it had before. And I've said this on other streams. There's plenty of room behind Big Thunder Mountain, which would have fit for cars because then you're in the Southwest. That would fit. Even if you didn't want to put it there, Tomorrowland Speedway, which is so outdated, you didn't want to replicate the Piston Cup, a scene from the Cars movie that people can relate to. They want to go to these parks to relive these moments in these movies that they remember and have an emotional attachment to. You mean you couldn't replicate the Piston Cup, you know, and kind of go through what it is to go to a NASCAR type of race? You couldn't do that and put that in there? But no, you want to pave over this because, let's face it, Stories Matter has a problem with Mark Twain. They have a problem with that time period in Americana. And it's a shame. So we're gonna see again. I will have my eyes on all of this.
There is a huge problem that goes on just in society today. And I don't know how much of society is involved in this. I really don't. But the problem is that people are choosing to look at history through the lens of today as if that history had happened today and what they want to be offended by today. And that's where the whole Stories Matters group comes in. I was looking at their website the other day, and I'm like, this whole website is offensive to normal people. Normal people do not think like this. Normal people don't look back at history and say, oh, well, we should be offended by the people of that era should have been offended by it. I mean, that's so weird. It's like, yeah, different things happen throughout history. Societies move in different directions, but that does not mean that just because it happened by then and people weren't offended by it back then, that they should have been. So when they put those stupid disclaimers on movies that say it was offensive then and it's offensive now, I'm like, do you not understand how sticking perverted sex stuff in movies for kids is offensive to me today? And you don't have any disclaimer on that? You don't have
No.
How come there's no disclaimer for me as a regular normal parent on the Buzz Lightyear movie for my kid? Some of the scenes depicted in this may depict relationships that people might not agree with. That could be offensive today, and it's still offensive today. I'm like, I don't get the disclaimer, and I'm offended by that. And oh man, I'm sorry.
So many are.
I'll get wound up.
It's like when I'm watching Aristocats, and you want to put a disclaimer on Aristocats. It's like, it's about jazz and blues music. That either way, they don't. The people that are there in the executive offices are there in Burbank. That's it. And I used to live out there. As far as they're concerned, whatever flyover country wants, they don't care. Just forget y'all. Pay me. We're going to do what it is that we're going to do. And people are voting with their wallets. That's why they threw all this stuff up there at D23. They're basically forced to because of what Epic Universe is doing, what Universal is doing. Universal is putting out so many family-friendly films, family-friendly areas. We talk about the kids' play areas going away. Okay, so over in the Studios Park, there's DreamWorks Land, which is nothing but stuff for kids to do, water things for them to do, shows for them to look at, characters for them to interact with, and for adults to recreate the Budweiser frog commercial. Oh my gosh, it cracks me up when parents figure it out. They're like, is that what is that what I think it is? And they're all like trying to hit this thing. It was great. I mean, that's just a prime example of, you have stuff for kids and you drop an adult joke in there that's gonna go over their heads because they're not gonna get it. They're not gonna get it at all. They're just like, oh, it's just another note.
When I went there the other day, there was a weird thing that happened to me. I'm like, I was over by the Shrek meet and greet, and it smelled really good. And I'm like, why does this like? I haven't had a really good smell in a park come to me in a while. I don't know what happened to Disney because they used to do that a lot. But I don't smell like when I'm walking down Main Street now in the Magic Kingdom. There used to be these wafty smells of wonderful things like baked goods coming up, and they used to pipe that in. I don't think they do that anymore because I haven't had that experience in a while. But there was something, and I think the smell was being piped in over in DreamWorks Land, and I was like, it's strange because it's a good smell by Shrek. So I'm like, what is this? I don't know. I don't know what it was. It was just it smelled really good.
It's not Disney has done it. If you go and I'll make the universal connection a bit. When you go into Adventureland, you will notice it's pleasant. It's a very mossy, fresh smell. And I can't place it, but that's what you smell. And when you go into the Enchanted Tiki room in that queue, that also has a very floral, fresh, tropical smell. You can't place it. You just know that when you walk in there, that's when you smell. It's kind of like when you go on Pirates of the Caribbean, you can smell it before you get to it.
That's bromine.
They kind of amp up. They kind of amp up the bromines, but I know. But it's kind of like the same thing when you go into those other queues or those other areas. There's a smell that's going on in the Mega Movie Parade. When the Jurassic Park float goes by, you will notice the same smell that you get when you walk into Adventureland. I thought it was a figment of my imagination. But when the parade came back, I made note of that. I'm like, that smells exactly like it is over in Adventureland. So it's like some of the places they used to do it. There's rum in Pirates of the Caribbean, y'all. There's a smell of rum when you get around the pirates that they do. But going from that to another one that's quite disturbing. It's our last topic to kind of wrap up with. So thank you guys so much for being here. So appreciate you being here at the Resort Recon podcast. I've got Ron from Follow the Bradley's Fun here with me. It's Florentin says, hey, Lorena. Hi, Ron. Been waiting for this. It's awesome sharing Frontier and Magic Kingdom experiences and memories with you. Best parts. Well, thank you. Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much for that. Good to see you too. It's Florentin. And oh, yeah. That's the reason why, let's see, California
I know this from
Grill.
personal experience.
Yeah. I hate it with California Grill. And I have to thank actually Gordon Ramsay for tipping me off to something like that. Because I know I'm going off like, the California Grill used to be one of my favorite restaurants. The menu was insane. They had this dessert that had like a little tiny mini Coke bottle, and it just had all these like different dessert samplers that was on it. The cuisine was great. We loved going every year. And then we went and it was horrible. And then that's when I found out the chef had left. I said, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, they're going elsewhere. They're so like when I was working, my last job at Disney was in food service, and the restaurant I was at had gone through, I want to say 3 different head chefs within a very small period of time after the reopening, and they're not going to Universal. They're actually going to like our head chef had a really good offer in a great restaurant, 5-star plus diamond restaurant, whatever they are in South Carolina. They're going outside of Disney. They're going to these much, much better restaurants that are outside of Disney. Disney can't keep them. They won't pay them enough. The benefits aren't enough. They're overworked, the chefs at Disney. And there's also all the DEI stuff that they don't want to put up with in restaurants. You ever worked in a restaurant, you know that normally in the back of a restaurant, there's a lot of stuff that gets thrown around that may not be very acceptable according to DEI Disney standards, and a lot of the chefs don't like that either. So it's like, it's a very, very hard environment to work in when you are trying to do the best at your job and you're also walking on eggshells the entire time. So they leave. They've gone. I mean, some of the top executive chefs have left, and they're like, I'm not taking this anymore. I'm going to go to a nice restaurant that'll pay me $500,000 a year. Period. I mean, that's it.
Yeah. And it's very obvious about the food quality, except for the Animal Kingdom Lodge. I'm going to talk about the Animal Kingdom Lodge because I love it. Love it over there. Yeah. Well, this last one I want to talk about, it is Disneyland related, but this alarms me in so many ways. Apparently, there was announced at the D23 panel. I think I'm making this up. Look at this, Walt Disney animatronic. And what we have here is Walt Disney audio animatronics figure coming to Disneyland. I don't really know this really does bother me. It feels like a Weekend at Bernie's kind of thing where they want to do this. And I'm not familiar with exactly where it's placed, but it looks like,
I thought they said they'd rotate it with Lincoln.
Walt Disney, A Magical Life. Oh, Moments with Mr. Lincoln?
Yeah, supposedly it's going to rotate with Moments of Mr. Lincoln. Like it'll be right there, same place.
Oh my gosh.
And I think Pro pointed this out. Lincoln is a deceased figure who we have no recordings of. There's very few photographs, and then after that, there's no. We have lots of recording of Walt Disney. There's plenty of real Walt Disney that we are able to interact with and see. And what may be bothering you bothers me is that when the wrong people have control of an animatronic, they can make it feel like Walt Disney said a lot of things that he never, not only would he not say, didn't say, but that he would not agree with today.
Right, exactly. And I agree. I don't like that. Like you were saying, exactly. We have footage of Walt Disney. One of the things that I love seeing is that old footage of Walt Disney when he talks about, the projects he's interested in. One of the things that fascinated me as a kid when they brought in like a live tiger or whatever it is, and he was petting it, I'm just like, how do you do that? That doesn't quite look safe. When he just, when you sit there and you listen to him, especially with how much he loves the parks and how much he loves the guests coming to his parks, when he talks about the types of parks that he wants to develop that both both kids and adults can enjoy at the same time. It's just like we don't want, and one of his relatives, I think his great granddaughter, I believe, or his granddaughter, was saying, we don't want this. And yet one of the relatives, because there's always one that's going to turn on you, was at D23, like, yeah, this is great. This is great. I'm paraphrasing. You didn't exactly push back on that. But this is going to be misused in the worst way possible. I mean, looking at the people that you have right now in charge of the company, looking at the track record of what they've done with attractions, with the way that they've tried to distance themselves from Walt Disney, demonize his attractions. These are not the kind of people that you would trust, to do something like this. And I think that's the underlying thing. You've got people in the executive positions at the Walt Disney Company that do not appear to like Walt Disney. So
And
I'm very wary of this because I look at this and I think that if they do this to Walt Disney and they bring him as an animatronics figure, that could possibly come to Walt Disney World.
oh yeah, I mean they already put the statue of him overlooking Epcot, which is nothing. Nothing. Epcot doesn't even remotely resemble what he wanted for Epcot. And the idea is that he's overlooking what they've recently done and supposedly smiling about it. No, it's funny. You probably noticed this, but you go over there and in the beginning there was a little bit of line for that, but nobody even cares about that statue, which is really sad. So sad.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's almost I want to say, oh, he should just have his head in his hands. Like, what the heck did you people do? Epcot is basically a festival pavilion, and I happened to go and look at Food and Wine Festival because I cover that. And I went to look and I see the listing of all of these bands, and it's just like it's a concert venue, literally. I just noticed like I don't have to go anywhere. All of these musical acts come there, perform so people can eat, buy liquor, and eventually go home. That's it. Where's the edutainment? It's nowhere near there. It used
Actually,
to be a little boutique experience, but not anymore.
now it's mostly a nightmare for police officers when people are leaving the parking lot completely sloshed at the end of the night.
Hmm.
And if you ever try to leave the parking lot at the end of the night during a festival, you will see an accident. There is literally one or two or three or four or five every single night with people leaving the parking lot because they are drunk.
Hmm. Epcot is now basically a kegger park, pretty much. I
Pretty
never thought
much.
I would say that, but it is. Let me tell
I
you.
really missed Illuminations, and I really missed the song "Promise" that was sung by Kelly Coffey as you're leaving
Hmm.
the park. What? And I, it's still my dream to actually sing the song at somebody's wedding because it's like the perfect wedding song. But man, every person comes out tipsy. Yeah, Epcot. I think it's a little more than tipsy, but every paycheck comes out there. And
Woo!
it's Epcot's just not. I mean, it's still my favorite of the four parks, but it's just, I mean, all of my
Ah,
feelings on the Disney parks have been downgraded. So,
oh,
set up.
I,
There you go.
yeah, yeah, that would be, yeah, that would be absolutely hysterical to see what happens. I try not to be in the parking lot at, uh, at park close. If I'm anywhere near park close, it's like, forget it. I need to go hang out someplace else until all these people,
Yeah.
kind of roll out. Oh yeah, we'll get them to squawk again.
This is a story for another time, of course, but I did that last night because of attending Cosmic, and I attended the early show, but still I wanted to wait out to when the crowd would be a little bit more thin. So I went over to 50's prime time. It was still open and grabbed some water over there. And then I ran into one of my fellow former castmate servers from where I used to work. And we talked, and he had left. I hadn't worked with him since 2019 because right at the time I was going back, he went to Star Cruiser, right? So we had a whole discussion about his experience as a cast member on Star Cruiser, and I felt so bad for not just him, but all the cast members. They put their heart and soul into making that thing work, and they just didn't have the writing and the
Yeah,
story. He literally said they actually had Broadway actors on that Star Cruiser. It wasn't their fault. It was how the executives executed the experience of it failed. And it's it was sad. Like I said, it's a whole thing I don't want to get into now, but now he's stuck at 50's prime time going from that experience to this. And he's like, no, I'm not happy here.
man. Well, folks, this has been an awesome stream. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. We sure do appreciate you. We have this Resort Recon podcast every Saturday at 12 noon, where we talk about park news, get questions from you guys, give you guys, information about what's going on out here, unfiltered as always, straight up. We give it to you straight. We're not on the cupcake list, nor are we trying to get on the cupcake list. I think of the cupcake list as like the poison apple that the old lady gives you. Come on, sweetie, take a bite. Like, no, I don't.
But they don't even have apples anymore. You got rid of the apples. No more caramel apples at Disney World.
Going at you people. Well, folks, Ron, what do you have coming up? Let the folks know about.
If it all works out, this Monday will be a very special daily dish. I don't want to tell. You'll see it when I put it up, but it has to do with the video that's coming out tomorrow, I believe, on WDW Pro. We did a very special interview. It will deal with a big policy change at Disney that happened, I believe, at the end of May or June, where let's just say that Disney is not meeting its own standard of inclusion. So we'll be talking about that. And I need to be working on my cast member. I think I'm going to get a trailer out this week for my cast member experiences video. A little spoiler alert. I think the title will be called "Behind the Name Tag." So of the series,
I like that.
And I will be talking about. I don't have them here, but I have all kinds of. Actually, this right here. This is when I worked for Disney. This is from when I was a cast member. DVC celebrated 25 years. Can we see that? 25 years. I got this frame
nice.
As being a cast member for DVC at that point in time. And I'm telling you, the 2014 to 2016 experience as a cast member, generally speaking, was pretty good. I have treasured memories, not of the job that I did, but of the fringe benefits of the job, which was taking those backstage tours. That's literally the absolute best part of that job, was when I got to see backstage. I'm watching Fantasmic last night, and when the boat comes out at the end with all the characters on it, I could actually say that I've gone up there and I've steered that steering wheel that Steamboat Millie's on.
Oh,
which
wow.
is a cool thing. Like, I'll treasure that experience forever, no matter how I feel about Disney and the state of the company right now. It's not Walt Disney World. It's not most of the cast members' fault. Most of the cast members are trying to do their best, but it's that tiny little fraction of people in the upstairs C-suite, whatever, that are really causing the downfall right now of Disney. And we just want it to turn around. That's all I want. I just have a hope that somebody will come in there and fix Iger's mess. But yeah, so that's what I have coming up on my channel.
Okay, well, cool, folks. Make sure you subscribe to follow the Bradley's Fun. I'll have a link to his channel in the description box after this live stream. As for myself, 8 p.m. tonight with Retro Nerd Girl, we will be having a watch party of Close Encounters of the Third Kind. One of my favorite, I won't call it old school, but yeah, I love that. I was like, oh, that's so darn cool. I liked it better than E.T. I'm going down that hill. I still do. But we're going to have a watch party for that. So hopefully you guys will check it out.
Very important for that watch party, prepare mashed potatoes.
Yes. I forgot about the mashed potatoes, man. Oh my gosh. So we got that Sunday, of course, at 8 p.m. is the Welcome to Florida live stream. We got Florida women stories to go over that have been piled up. And then Monday, at 7 p.m. Eastern, I will be broadcasting live from Hollywood Studios. We're going to take a walk over there around Animation Courtyard, and over there where Muppets is, and kind of talk about and prognosticate about just where they're going to put that Monsters Inc. thing. And of course, yes, I will have to snag some cold brew while I'm there, of course. So we're going to have fun out there. And if I get myself together, I should have 2 videos coming out over the weekend. One, 5 things that you must do at Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, and a video of 5 things people are doing wrong at Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. So finally, we'll have those out this weekend. How do you watch the movie? Well, we have, let's put it this way. I put a version that YouTube won't copyright strike me for, that I'll put on screen for you guys to see. But I usually try to find where you guys can watch the movie, if not for free, by subscription or something like that. So I'll have something in the chat, and also when I post about it on YouTube as well, so you guys can watch along with us. All right, folks. Well, you guys have an amazing, amazing rest of your day. Thank you so very much for being here. We will see you next time. Bye.
Thank you, everybody.